I'm Patrick and I'm running for the SRC Vice President for Education.
Okay, so first of all, you mentioned about developing and strengthening the class rep. How would you do this, and how would you ensure that class reps are really representing the student body and not just the other students that they speak to on a regular basis?
So obviously Liam this year and also previous VPs have done a lot of work for class reps. I would like to build on that, but I think one large issue that exists currently is that the wider student population isn't really aware of what class reps are supposed to do. Some staff members, lecturers, when they call for class rep elections, they do go into a bit of detail what it is about, but in my opinion, students as a whole need to be more informed about what class reps do. Because if they don't know what class reps do and what the potential is that they have, then it's much harder for class reps to actually do something and to know what the issues are that the students face.
So how do you plan on building on that, continuing down the same?
So in October, the new class rep toolkit on Moodle was introduced, which I think is really good, and it is looking very nice so far. It also has potential to be further developed, so whenever something new comes up, it's easy to add. Make class reps more aware of that, give them guidance. The events that have been taking place so far, they've been really good. Continue having these, but I think the class rep toolkit can be really good, a really good tool.
Great. Okay, so one of your first goals in your manifesto is the introduction of an assessment and feedback calendar app. Talk me through this. What would it entail and how would you introduce it?
So the College of Social Sciences has started working on that by themselves with two postgrads from computer studies. That one is very basic so far, which is maybe not a bad thing. So what they are doing is almost what you see on Moodle, so deadlines, but also it will show when feedback is supposed to be due. When should you get your feedback back? Because I think a large issue that we have at the moment is, of course, assessment feedback as a whole, which also includes students being frustrated about the quality of feedback, but also the timeliness, which is lacking. So I think we should take that idea, take that very basic structure that social sciences has and push the university to take that on and make it better and make it bigger. Because of the nature of its very basic structure, it has the potential to add new things all the time. It can maybe at some point be a proper calendar app where students can add their own things, but it also includes those things. Maybe it can display feedback at some point, so all the feedback is on point, but that is potentially quite far in the future.
Okay. What kind of ideas do you have for ensuring that new buildings on the Western campus are suited to student needs? You mentioned study spaces and opening times.
So, of course, all four sabbatical officers sit in the different project boards, and a lot of things have been decided already.
Yeah.
Of course, the James McHugh Smith, that one is virtually finished. Some are looking quite good, like the research hub. Of course, in other buildings have not come out of the ground yet. It would be very important to convene with the Vice President for Student Support and the welfare officers. Of course, Vice President for Student Support gives their direct input as well when it comes to what students need from accessibility standpoint.
Okay.
Study spaces in general is just a big issue, and it will still be, I'm quite sure, when the Learning Hub is open. It's just be on the ball, keep pushing on the project boards so that students always.
Is that something that you're planning to do?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And how do you plan on building good relationships between students and lecturers and other university staff in order to implement points on your manifesto such as the 24-hour library opening, opt-out lecture recording and paperless handing?
At times I've been quite positively surprised how keen most of the staff at the university is to actually hear from us. I think particularly in our college, the College of Arts has fantastic staff. So do all the colleges. The issues are usually very few who see an issue where there isn't really an issue.
Okay.
So it's all about communication. Talk to everyone who has stakes in it. see what their concerns are, talk about it, hopefully find solutions that work for everyone. In the end, no one should be unhappy.
Okay.
Of course, it might be idealistic, but that is the goal one has to strive to.
Okay. So for the 24-hour library opening, what are the issues with that at the minute?
So there's a few concerns. Of course, staff contracts, they were made for 24-hour access. Also, throughout the semester, it has to be assessed what is the demand, because of course, keeping a building running 24 hours is less sustainable than just keeping it open for 18 or 16 hours. So that will have to be weighed up. Personally, I think it is worth it keeping the library open, the whole library open 24 hours. There was talk at Aasen last night, well, what if we only keep a few floors open? But then again, some students will have access to the resources while others won't. I also think it would be good to have the library as the one building that is open 24 hours, as long as the demand isn't huge, so that we have just one space that everyone can go to if they want to work very late at night or early in the mornings.
Great. And finally, what makes you the best candidate for this position?
Obviously, anyone who's read the manifestos can tell they all have a lot of similarities, and I think that's because all three of us have similar experience from the SRC and we all see what the issues are. I think I'm the best candidate because of how much experience I have gathered, both before I've come to university but also during. So I'm the candidate from the three of us who sat in the most university committees at the highest levels. So I've sat in Senate, Learning Teaching Committee. I'm a treasurer of society as well, with huge spending every year. I'm in one of the sports clubs. Before university, I volunteered as a regional director for an exchange organisation. I got to do management trainings in Denmark, Serbia and Romania. And I, because conscription is mandatory in Switzerland, I was in the army, I got to be a quartermaster sergeant, where I line managed 15 people, including the whole office and the whole kitchen. That, of course, was not a 9-to-5 environment. And one of the things about being a sabbatical officer here is work-life balance can be very difficult because all your friends also are at the university, but it's also very work. So I have a lot of experience with an environment where work-life balance is virtually not a thing. So I really think I'm very well suited to a job and have the necessary experience to actually get things done.